Welcome back to the Manc Entrepreneur YouTube channel, and today I want to be talking to you about, is Etsy for sale? And if so, who is going to buy it? You see, now this is almost like a follow-on from an episode I did maybe about 4 months ago. The link is up here if you missed it, and in that video I said, should eBay buy Etsy? Now that question was largely posed because eBay seemed to be floundering a little. We've not seen much innovation from eBay in recent years. Obviously, Amazon launched Amazon Handmade, and Amazon do nothing but innovate. And Etsy seems like a possible acquisition to eBay, which could bring them some new ideas and some new innovation, I guess, and some new purpose, some new drive. And that is something which at the time I was merely speculating, mainly about eBay looking to do something rather than the current position of Etsy. However, that has changed in sort of recent weeks. In fact, last week, Etsy had announced that they were going to be laying off another 140 employees, which is around 15% of their current workforce. However, that is in addition to 90 layoffs, which they had earlier in the year. And back in February, they got a new CEO on board, a new CTO. They've had a lot of changes internally. Now, whilst that is not necessarily a bad thing, the thing that leads the most interesting questions is when you look at where these cuts have been made from. So to put this in perspective, the total job losses at Etsy just for by the end of 2016 was 230 for the year, and that's a 22% reduction in workforce. So nearly a quarter of Etsy's workforce have been laid off. That should lead to some sort of alarm bells going off. Now, it's not that unusual because, again, back when eBay split from PayPal a couple of years ago, eBay did a similar thing. eBay was bloated and they had to start trimming the fat and to make it much more streamlined. Etsy could be doing something very similar. They've got a new board on board, a new board of directors, and they could be, being a little bit more brutal with the cuts and the expenses. Now, what makes this questionable is the fact that these job losses, these 22% of Etsy's workforce, have largely come from marketing, product management, and other general and admin positions. That is basically business operations. You point to me a business, so of that scale, that sacks the marketing team. It doesn't happen. You look at eBay, Amazon, Alibaba, hell, Vodafone, BMW, any sort of big, reputable business have a marketing team, and they are working non-stop throughout the year. Hell, my sister even works as part of an online marketing team for a huge company, and they don't get time off. They're constantly working on something. So why have Etsy got rid of such a large part of what would be a core piece of their business? It doesn't make a lot of sense. Now, to put this into sort of another perspective, is it just screams that they're looking to be bought out. You don't, like I said, the reason why you would get rid of so many business operations positions is if you had an inkling that you would be getting that same support or that same resource from somewhere else, i.e. a bigger company is going to come and absolve you into them where they already have those teams. So that's the sort of first thing which seems to make most sense, is that if you're going to stop doing marketing, how do you run a business? We're in June. You've got a good 6 months and your probably busiest trading period coming up. You would not get rid of the marketing team. So that leads to the question, well, who would buy Etsy? If Etsy was for sale, who would buy it? Now, I ran this question through past a few e-commerce sellers on Tuesday, and they overwhelmingly were sort of highly supporting Amazon. Now, my issue with Amazon is if they were going to buy Etsy, I think they would have already done it by now. They wouldn't have invested so much time and effort and energy with Amazon Handmade. They would have just bought Etsy and ran it as Etsy because they already had the brand awareness and the users, and people knew the brand. They would just own it. So that seems a little unusual. I mean, don't get me wrong. Amazon, as we saw last week, their acquisition of Whole Foods for $13 billion, which they pretty much stole because they got it. Their share price jumped so much, it was pretty much free. So Amazon would totally have the cash to do so. In fact, I got some figures up here. I think when Etsy's initial purchase offering was $16, and it very quickly on that day rose to 35. And right now, currently, I mean, and back then that meant it had a valuation of $4 billion. Right now, the share price has tanked back down below the initial purchase offering. Nasdaq, Etsy. We're down at $14, but it has dropped even lower just 3 months ago in April, probably when all the board changes were coming in. It was down in the tens. So it's fair to say that Etsy is not worth, as far as the market is concerned, $4 billion right now. It might be closer to $1 billion. However, I mean, even looking at the numbers, the first part of this year, the first quarter, Etsy was reporting a $400,000 net loss. And I guess that is probably attributing to why they managed to get rid of so many more staff. So right now, Etsy isn't making profit. I mean, it may have done for Q2, who knows, but it's not making profit. Its share price is lower than what it was at IPO, and they've got rid of a large part. Well, they've got rid of near enough a quarter of the workforce, and largely in parts of the workforce which you just would not get rid of: marketing, business ops, things like that. So to me, this is screaming Etsy's for sale, and that the board have been brought on to negotiate this term of change, this term of acquisition from whoever it may be. Now, again, we've spoke about Amazon. eBay is another one which could be interesting. Obviously, Etsy's much larger than Amazon Handmade has managed to get. Obviously, been around longer, but I don't think Amazon's quite managed to make the impact that they wanted, and have now seemed to gone after grocery. Now, that does leave eBay. Is this, again, I mentioned this a few months ago, is this the innovation? Is this the change? Is this the fresh eyes that eBay needs in order to be a little bit more competitive in the marketplace arena? Who knows? There's also Walmart. We know Walmart aren't shy when it comes to spending cash. They, bought Jet.com. That was $1 billion deal. And they, again, last week or the week before, spent $330 million acquiring Bonobos, which was an e-commerce fashion seller in America. So again, Walmart have the cash, and it could be another stab at Amazon. Amazon sort of made the first blow with Whole Foods. Would Walmart want to get their own back with Etsy? And then there's Alibaba. Could Alibaba be interested? Could Alibaba see Etsy as more of a gateway to the West? Alibaba killing it out in the East, but don't really have too much of a foothold here in Europe and the USA. Could Etsy be that bridge? Who knows? These are very interesting times right now. But my general position on this is that Etsy is for sale. I have no proof of this. It is mere speculation. But I would make my prediction right now on the 29th of June, so we've got 6 months of the year left, that by the end of 2016, by the end of 2017, get my ears mixed up, Etsy will be owned by someone else. That's my prediction. With that said, I'd love to hear your thoughts. Do you sell on Etsy? If you sell on Etsy, it's largely not going to affect you, I don't think. Etsy has a great customer base. It has, loads of dedicated sellers who love the platform. And whilst an acquisition by someone like eBay may sort of disgruntle them a little bit, ultimately nothing will change. You'll still, Etsy, the platform, I believe, will still exist, but I just think it will be owned by someone else. With that said, let me know what you think down below. If you have any questions or comments on this, I'd love to hear from you. Again, if you're a seller on Etsy or just someone who's been watching the sort of e-commerce landscape unfold in recent months, what you think. Have I missed an obvious one? Well, probably not Tesco, but you never know. Could someone else be in line to acquire Etsy? Someone said Yahoo the other day. Again, that's sort of a bit of a sleeping giant. Chances are Google wouldn't get involved. Facebook potentially, but Facebook have their own marketplace now. Who knows? There's a few big players who have that sort of cash to invest in a platform with the sort of audience that Etsy has. Let me know what you think down below. And share this video with someone who you think may find it informative, may find it useful, or may have an opinion on it. Because again, I'd love to get a discussion going around this topic. With that said, if you've enjoyed this video, hit that like button and subscribe if you are new. I do get new videos out every single weekday. With that said, tomorrow's will be an early one. I have nothing prepared, edited, ready to go. So it'll be another live stream first thing in the morning. And with that said, enjoy the rest of your evening, and I'll catch you tomorrow morning for another episode. Thank you so much for watching.